And we're live. So, welcome everybody to this Coffee and Crypto, as it's I regularly call in my YouTube channel. And now it's typically called Radix Talk because we're speaking a lot about Radix on different projects, different founders, even with regular people like you and me. I had one interview with one guy for the early community, and I'm having another one this week with another guy that is doing things in his own. I mean, he doesn't have like a break or something, but he has good things to say in regards of Radix, in regards of the overall experience on crypto. So I think that it's good to have this open mic for anybody that wants to chat a little bit. And in this time, we do have a founder and a core dev for two different projects, but founder for one project that it's looking very good. That is bringing a lot of things to Radix, and I think we need to first take our hats off with Timan because he's doing an outstanding job. So, Timan, welcome to my
Thank you.
show. Welcome to my channel, and we are glad to have you here. How are
Thank
you?
you. Hi, hello from Amsterdam. As you can see, it's very dark and gray outside. You can see a little bit of the canal, but we're here in what we call the dark days before Christmas, and I don't think I haven't seen the sun in 6 days.
Wow,
So I'm happy
that's
that
not
I have
good.
a lot of light here, and happy to be on the show. Thank you for having me.
No, I'm super glad, and yeah, I used to work a few years ago in a company that was based on Chicago. So I'm in Mexico, and here in Mexico, it is cold, at least where I live, but not as cold as you guys, or not
What is
not.
called?
So I typically speak on sensor on degrees, not on
Yeah.
Fahrenheit, but we can be, I would say, maybe at 0 degrees, and the colder
Oh, that is
it's
cold.
-4, -5. But snow,
Okay.
for instance, we have it like every 5 years or 6 years, and it's like this, and it stopped the city because we are not used to it. So this company was based on Chicago, and I mean, I spoke with a lot of people in Chicago, and I used to trip over there. Yeah, they had what you were saying, a lot of days without seeing the sun. So whenever someone from there came to town to visit the plant, they were like, "Oh man, I'm so glad the sun is here." I get your feeling, yeah.
Next time I come to Mexico for the cold, then the bull run goes right.
Yeah, but for sure you're not coming to my city because here is not a touristic city. It's more an industrial city. But for sure you will come to Cancun or Baja or something like that. That's the fun part
That
of
would be,
Mexico.
yeah, that would be good.
Yeah. So, Tim, we've been speaking a little bit here and there on
Yeah,
Telegram for different things. I think the first time I contacted you was for DeFi Plaza staking, just to make sure how it
yeah,
worked at the very beginning when I launched the CTO token. But then I saw your description on your Telegram, and it says Astrolescent. So I was like, this is interesting. So tell me a little bit about you first. First of all, Tim.
yes, yes. Hi, Timan. Like I said, from the Netherlands, Amsterdam. I'm a full stack developer, so I can actually code a little bit of crypto, but back end, front end, everything. I've been doing that for 20 years,
Wow.
and I've always been a startup founder. So I started my first company when I was 21. I started one of the first social networks in the Netherlands. Sold it 5 years later when it was by far the biggest. Sold it in time before Facebook came because we wouldn't have one from Facebook. But so I got really lucky on a young age. And then I started helping other startups. I started investing in startups. Tried 2 or 3 times again to start a successful company, a successful startup. I failed, and that's why my motto is still once you're lucky, twice you're good. And hopefully with Astrolescent or DeFi Plaza, I can prove that I'm actually good and not just lucky.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's a hard world. I mean, overall,
Yeah,
I feel the same way. And I remember in 2020, I read like 20 some books for investment and different things, right? All everything that I could find that was not about crypto, but about the world and
yeah,
industry and I mean companies, etc. And I remember that I used to read in two or three of those books. Whenever one people is successful, then most of the times it fails and it goes bankrupt. And I was like, oh, those guys, what do they know? And then it happened to me. And I was at a point in 2022, 2023. I was at a point that I have money for 1 week. I have 4 kids, so it's not easy to
no,
what am I gonna do? So
yeah,
I, thank God I found a new job by then, by the starting of 2024, and I was able to start getting money, putting back again in crypto. So believing again in crypto after
yeah,
I did very good and then very bad for bad decisions, investing in bad places. But yeah, and same thing happened with startups. I don't have any doubt of that.
yeah, yeah. It is hard, and the weird thing is, if the first one is successful, you think, oh, I'm good. I'm going to try a second one, and it will be successful as well. And I think for my personality, it was good that the second one failed.
Yeah.
So I stayed humble and didn't. Yeah, I think it would. If I was 27, 28, and my second company would be a success as well. I think I'm a better person now. Let's say it like that. It shaped me.
Yeah, every time that you fail, it's I think that you have two options to overcome it and become better, or just leave it there
Yeah,
and go down, 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 down the road, right? So yeah, congratulations for staying strong and taking this into what you had to do. I mean, taking what was wrong and put new things or learn from it so that you can be more successful. And
yeah,
I'm pretty sure that Astrolescent is going to perform very well during the next following months. That a lot of people is going to be coming to Radix. I mean, overall to the ecosystem, to crypto
yeah,
ecosystem, but a good portion of that, I think Radix is going to start doing things, and most people is going to start looking at Radix. So yeah, I think that you have a good product over there.
yeah. I think so as well.
You have to think it. I mean, if you don't, then we're screwed.
Yeah.
So for how long you been in crypto, man?
I'm a rather junior crypto person. I think it was 2021 that I joined, um, and Jesser, the founder of DeFi Plaza, is one of my closest friends. I know him since high school, and once in a while he remembers. Who he tells the story that he approached me, I think it was 2014, 15, and I said, Timon, this crypto, this really is something for you. You love this. You should really get involved. And I was like, nah, I don't know.
It's a
I'll
scammers.
stay with social media. That's why I understand. And every year he would say, hey, Timon, I should really get into crypto. It's really for you. And I said, no. Until 2021, and I missed the first 7 years, 8 years of the exciting things in crypto. I finally joined. And then close after, I started helping him with DeFi Plaza. And I think in 22, 23, yeah, 22, I also started Astrolescent. So I really got in as a founder rather quick. And
Yeah.
I'm a bad trader, and I think I'm a good builder. And that's what I learned very fast. So I don't trade too much. I rather build and then and see what comes out of it.
Yeah, that's at the end. That's better. I mean, uh, I do trade, but it's better to trade when we're on a bear market or when we're on the bottom. So you have these consolidations going on, and it's easier to trade there because it is not as vertical as it is right now,
Yeah.
but when it gets vertical, it's vertical up and down, so
Yeah.
it's easy to lose money. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I tell my audience,
Yeah.
because I do TA, I do analysis, technical analysis, but I do, my guys say right now, because a lot of people like to trade in futures, so it's
Oh
even
no.
riskier. So I said, guys, right now this time is not a time to do futures. It's time to
Yeah.
buy, accumulate, and run. I mean, at some
Yeah.
point the charts will tell on bigger monthly candles or weekly candles. The chart says, hey, it's better to start taking off a little bit of your positions. But yeah, right
Yeah.
now is not good time for trading. So it's much better. If I had the abilities, I think that I would be doing more that versus trading. But I don't have them yet. But I will learn as crypto.
Smart.
Yeah. I mean, it's with, for what I've been hearing, it's super nice and
Yeah.
easier
It
than
is
many others.
actually.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I have a background on programming. I studied when back in the days. I know I'm old now. I have
Yeah. Me
teeth
too. So.
and I have white hair now and all that stuff. But some years ago, I studied IT. I'm an IT engineer, so I did use. I guess you will remember, to make some programs on COBOL, on Pascal, on Turbo C, Visual Basic. So I know the logic, but it's just
Yeah.
been so many years that
Yeah.
I haven't done anything. But
Yeah.
yeah, so
No,
that's
but crypto is really nice, and once you wrap your head around it, it's actually quite easy. Rust is also not as complicated as you might think. I was a mentor at the hackathon in Barcelona 2 months ago, and it was really nice to see that people with no experience in Rust or in crypto were actually deploying smart components to StokeNet after 2 days. And it's amazing. I've
yeah.
worked with both Solidity and Scripto, and I would choose Scripto every day.
Yeah,
So
I
now
was.
a little bit more volume and TVL into Radix, and then we will be very successful.
Oh yeah. I mean, Radix is on early stages, and I mean, going back to the charts, I love charts. Charts tell you everything, so it is in a very good position, and the chart just tell me it is, the time is now. So yeah, I think that it's gonna be a very strong success. So speaking about Astrolescent,
Yeah,
what is Astrolescent to start with, for anybody that don't know?
yeah,
Is it a DEX, or what is it, and
yeah,
what makes it different to other
yeah.
projects?
Astrolescent is a decentralized exchange aggregator and a cross-chain bridge, and that's a lot of technical words. But what we basically do is, I think, two main features. One is the aggregator, and what that does is that we look at all the DEXs on Radix, and then when you make a trade, we make sure you get the most tokens in return. So if you're not familiar with how an aggregator works, I usually try to explain it like, if you want to buy plane tickets, you might go to cheaptickets.com and you say, I want to fly from Amsterdam to Chicago. And then Cheap Tickets will compare all the airlines and will get you the best deal. And Cheap Tickets doesn't have its own planes. It's talking to the airlines to get the best deal for you. And that's exactly how Astrolescent works as well. So we don't have our own liquidity. We work together with DeFi Plaza, with OC Swap, with Caviar 9, with Dexter, with Radix Planet, all the DEXs on Radix. And then when you want to buy Astral with XRD, we put out a quote to all these DEXs and then say, okay, 50% goes to OC Swap, 30% goes to DeFi Plaza, 20% goes to Dexter, and this is how you get the best deal.
Yeah,
And
and
that's trading. Yeah, go ahead.
I guess based on the, not just the price but also the liquidity on each different DEX, that it takes the decision, right? To
Yeah,
which
yeah. We try
what
to lower the
percentage.
price impact. and make sure you get the most tokens in return. So we look at transaction cost, fees, that kind of things, and then run a couple of simulations to try to get you the best deal. And that's what we've been doing for the last 2 years. And it's going really well. We're one of the 2 big aggregators on Radix. And I think about 2.5 months ago, we launched a cross-chain bridge to make it easier to get onto Radix or get off Radix. Like, nobody wants to sell Radix, right? But if you want to buy Radix, it's actually quite hard to do that through the centralized exchanges. Through to regulations, it's, I think, almost not available in the US. It's hard to get in the UK. So the decentralized routes are actually easier for those people, or for people who don't like to do KYC. So we work together with Maya Protocol, with Thorchain, with Chainflip, with RocketX, like the leading bridges that also support Radix. And then we do the same. We aggregate across these bridges and make sure you get the best deal. So if you want to sell 5 SOL into XRD, we check the different options and then say, hey, you get this much XRD in return. And then you can connect your Solana wallet and buy XRD. And that not only works from SOL to XRD, but of course also from XRD to SOL and to ETH and to Bitcoin, and basically most popular L1s.
That's super good. And for you people that are older here, older not in age like myself, but in the crypto, we're part of the DeFi summer on 2021, 2020 or 2021. It is like 1 inch, right? Something like 1 inch that is at the aggregator, and look for the best option. I would think as if of like coupons that I didn't use them, but I get in US. I'm not sure if down there with you guys, but there you have these coupons, and the people was looking what is the best offer, where can I get more products for my money. So it is something like that at the end, right? So you look for the best treats, and at the end you're also helping the whole Rix ecosystem to maintain the same price, average price, through the different indexes. So that's nice. And I didn't know that about the bridges, that you do the same thing. So that's awesome. I guess that's even harder, right?
Yeah, that's definitely harder. We try to aggregate everything. So every time we launch a new product, we are building this aggregation into it. And bridges are hard, and bridges are also scary. I've been bridging for a couple of years, and every time that I do a transaction, it's a bit scary. Mostly because if you do a transaction on Ethereum, on Solana, or on Radix, it's immediate. So when the transaction is a success, you have your tokens. Mm-hmm. But the hard part with bridging is that there's a transaction on Solana, and then there's a process running that needs to bridge it, and then there's another transaction on Radix, and there's a bit of a black hole in the middle, and that's always so scary. So
definitely, I bought some Manta tokens a year and a half, 2 years, so I don't remember. I remember I was trying to look for tutorials how to stake, because I like staking. So I got them on an exchange, and then I put it on MetaMask, and then I have to run like 2 different bridges to put it on the Manta network that runs on Polkadot at the end. But it was super scary, because at some point the transaction in the middle failed, and I was like, shit, what is going to happen? And I had to go to work. So that day I was scared that I lost that money. I was able to fix it, but it's scary. And when you're reaching from Bitcoin, I guess, it takes an hour. Right?
It's definitely. But also even from ETH, it sometimes takes 30 to 45 minutes. So we're putting a lot of time in what we call a track and trace. So when you order a package from Amazon, for example, The transaction in your bank account has already been done, but you don't have your package yet. So there's this same black hole in the middle, and DHL and the large package distributors built something really nice, which is called track and trace. And you can actually see, okay, it arrived in the distribution center, it's been given to the chauffeur, it's now on its way, and it's been delivered to your home. So for our bridge, we have built something similar and are constantly working to extend that, to make it less scary to actually bridge, and always know, okay, what's happening with my transaction? Is it pending? Is it going through? Did it fail? Was there a refund? And it really helps that we do a lot of customer support. We're talking to a lot of people who bridge. And every time if they have a question, we write it down and say, okay, can we add this to the track and trace? So people don't have to ask, but people can see. And I think we're slowly getting there, that bridging is not as scary anymore. And I think that would be the biggest win for our bridge.
Yeah, definitely. And also on bridging, there has happened a lot of funds stolen, right? So there is some open doors, back doors, or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's where sometimes you have a very good protocol, but when bridging happens, then you can lose money. So I think it's a very tough one.
I'm glad that we're not operating our own bridges. Because you really need to know what you're doing and how to make them secure. So that's why we work together with a Maya and a Rocket X. So their core business is to build the best bridge. And then we can apply our core business, and that's aggregating and actually making it easy to use. And then we both benefit, like we know what to do, they know what to do, and I don't have to be so scared that we make a mistake. That's their core business.
Yeah, I like that. So, so you were saying, I saw the news 1 or 2 weeks ago. Now the bridge, or it's open for Solana, but what are the other networks? I'm just putting here so that I can show on the screen.
By heart, it's Ethereum, Arbitrum, Bitcoin, Solana, Thorchain, and Maya, but they are a little bit smaller, and I think Kujira at the moment. And we're working on Zcash and Cardano.
Zcash?
They will, I think that's the technology. Might be Caspa. I know Maya is working on it. We're not integrating it ourselves. And Cardano is probably coming early January, which might be nice because there's quite a bit of overlap between the Cardano ecosystem and the Radix ecosystem.
Yes.
I believe you also have experience with Cardano. There's a few others that are active. So that's one we're really looking forward to. And then we will slowly roll out more and more networks and connect them first to Radix, but also make sure that you can still use the Astrolescent bridge, not only to Radix, but also, for example, ETH to Cardano or Solana to Cardano. And that's what we're working on as well.
Super nice. So I put there the text Ethereum, nice. Arbitrum. I think I made a mistake on Arbitrum. It's ARB.
Yeah.
Let me fix that one. Arbitrum, Bitcoin, Solana.
Yeah, and Caspa and Cardano are coming.
Super nice.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna leave it running there so that everybody knows. Anybody that didn't know this, because it's super important, as you were saying. Some people don't want to use for an exchange for KYC, or it is not on their country. So there is an easy way now to bridge, and as we were speaking, it's gonna take the best decision, the one that cost the less for you, so that you can get more tokens out of your bridging. So definitely use Astrolescent. And I remember that I've been seeing and get in my head from Beam that you have buybacks for XRP, right? So that's also something very good for the ecosystem.
So 100% of our profits are used to buy back Astral, and we're depositing that into our staking contract. So if you hold any Astral and you stake it with us, you get a share of our profit.
Nice.
And that I think that's a really nice mechanic where we can strive to make as much profit as possible and still give back to our own astronauts.
Yeah. So there that is the logo for Astrolescent. So that,
yes,
because it's a little tricky, the wording for Astrolescent at the beginning, but yeah, once you get used to it, then it's simple and you don't forget. So it's there, the logo, so that you can, whenever you do a look on the internet, you see, okay, this is the logo. I put here also the address, astrolescent.com.
nice.
That's simple, and also the Twitter account, just Astrolescent. I mean, there's no
Yeah,
way to lose that. So
no.
nice. So why did you you are a core dev of DeFi Plaza as well, as we
Yeah,
were speaking 2 days ago or yesterday.
yeah,
What made you create, or what was the trigger that you said, oh, I think the Radix needs this and I
yeah,
can make it happen?
yeah. So with DeFi Plaza, I joined an existing project. Jazzer and UI guy had already built DeFi Plaza. And I know them, like I said, Jazzer is a close friend. I started helping him because I liked it. He was doing great stuff. I joined their Telegram. I started helping, and slowly I really became a part of the team. And Jazzer and I were discussing, like, what is Radix really missing? And one of the things, and it's already 2 years ago, before Babylon went live, we said there isn't an aggregator. So maybe we should build an aggregator. And we were working on the first algorithms and the first code, and then another aggregator launched. And it was like, oh no, we're too late. And that was actually Astrolescent. It was founded by Marinim. And luckily, Marinim reached out and said, hey, I saw the amazing work that you've been doing on DeFi Plaza. Do you want to run Astrolescent together? And said, yes, please. So that's how we started Astrolescent. We saw that there wasn't an aggregator, and we both knew how important aggregators are. Because I think what the nice thing about an aggregator is that it only focuses on the trader. Most DEXs, they have both the trader and the LP provider. They need to make a profit for the LP provider, and they need to offer the lowest price for the trader, and that collides. That there's friction there. And the nice thing about an aggregator is that, sorry, LP providers, but we don't care about your profit. We only care about the lowest price for the trader. And that's how we've been thinking about running Astrolescent, and that's how we started it, and that's how I ended up here. You're muted.
Thank you. I was texting more on the message, so I turned it off. So what I was saying is, at the end is super nice, because then instead of everybody trading on one platform or one DEX or the other, if you go by Astrolescent, you're not gonna just be helping the ecosystem because of the buybacks and everything, but also you spread the buy. So liquidity over all the different DEXs, liquidity providers are gaining because of that. So it's a no-brainer. I think besides, if you're just buying and not adding liquidity or something like that, it's much better to use Astrolescent versus going directly to any of your preferable.
That's also something we learned with DeFi Plaza. Started on Ethereum 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago, and I think 99%, maybe more, of our traffic was coming from 1inch. People didn't know what DeFi Plaza was in the world. There was a group, because we had around $4 or $5 million in liquidity, but by using 1inch and integrating with 1inch, we got this huge amount of volume because it was automatic. People didn't need to know what DeFi Plaza was, because we were integrated with 1inch. We were getting the traffic, and that's also what we were discussing when going to Radix for DeFi Plaza. Do we even want our own swap interface, or are we going to focus fully on the LP provider and then let Astrolescent and other aggregators actually get us the traffic? And I think that's the nice with what you said with an aggregator. Also, the smaller DEXs get a lot more volume if they offer the best price for the traders and have a good algorithm.
Yeah, for sure. So that's nice. It's a very good tool. I mean, to be honest, to have in Radix right now. I guess the people that is not so happy are the people that trade for how is it called? There is this
arbitrage.
Arbitrage, because
Yeah,
you're doing the
well,
arbitrage yourself.
I think our bots are still faster than we are, but we have a similar approach, because we level the price across all DEXs, and it's better if it goes to our traders than to the bots. But
sure,
let's see how that goes.
Yeah, I'm gonna be speaking with one guy that do that arbitrage. He call it different, but at the end is arbitrage. But yeah,
Interesting.
I will see what he thinks. But I mean, yeah, and also the other thing is that liquidity is up and down, and sometimes the best option is one, the best option is another, based on the community. Sometimes they prefer Pepsi, sometimes they prefer Coca-Cola. So you're just saying, I don't care which one you prefer, I'm bringing you the best choice. So yeah, that's awesome.
And
that's
Radix
amazing.
is still relatively small. So if you go to OC Swap and the token is not there, you can go to DeFi Plaza. But on Ethereum, I think there's 2, 3, 4, 5,000 DEXs. After a while, you don't know anymore where you have to be to find your own token. So that's another benefit of using an aggregator. There's just one place where you can trade. You don't have to look up if you go to one DEX or the other. So it's also a little bit easier by using Astrolescent.
And how does it work? I wouldn't say listing on Astrolescent, because you're not really listing, but are you taking any new token that it's on any of the different exchange DEXs and just putting there for available, or there is need to be a process so the project can be shown on Astrolescent?
No, it is automatic. So any token that is listed on one of the DEXs we support, and that has more by heart, it's $750 in liquidity. It automatically shows up in the token listing. We have a top list with the biggest tokens, and we're working on some kind of allow list where we have like it's not certified, because that's not where you want to go, but like known tokens. So you have a list of like the known tokens and then everything. And we're already working on classification of different tokens. So if you want to buy memes, we have a whole list of the meme tokens. If you look for DeFi, we have a whole list of the DeFi tokens, to also add a little bit on the discoverability. But in basic, it's every token with enough liquidity will show up. And then in the future, there will probably be some kind of community involvement, getting a allow list, or it's not a white list or a certified list, but something to say, hey, this is a legitimate token. I think that will be needed. We're still relatively small, but in the future, I think that would be a good approach. So then it's 2 steps: automatic listing, and then maybe a check mark or something. This is legit. Next to it afterwards.
Yeah, because there's gonna be too many projects at some point, and you won't know which one is good, which one is bad. So definitely, that would be a good second step. So how has been your journey since you are now a founder on this space? What can you tell me about your experience on that?
I started in a bull run. I think the last 6 months of 2021 were crazy. It was up and to the right only, and then January 2022, if I remember correctly, everything collapsed. So it started on a high. It's like, oh, this is amazing. Being in crypto is so cool, and everything goes by itself, and it's so easy. and then the bear market happened for the last 3 years. But I think I'm not saying that I enjoyed it, but I think it shaped our ecosystem, and it helped like build solid products and make sure that we're ready for growth. I started out doing this next to my day job. Since the beginning of the year, I've been working full time on Astrolescent and DeFi Plaza, and I've been helping some other projects. I gave myself until the end of December to make a decision if I needed to start finding a job again. So hopefully, with a little bit more price action, I can extend this for another year. It's looking good. I'm actually really enjoying being in crypto. I worked for a lot of large corporates before, and then you need to write like decent emails, and you don't use smileys. And nowadays I'm just on Telegram and making fun and sending Taylor Swift gifts and smileys.
What about that?
And
Come on,
jokes.
Are you Swiftie? I mean, you told me you aren't.
Yes.
I don't know.
I was in denial, but after the concert in London this summer, I am officially a Swiftie. I now understand why teenage girls faint when they get to a concert. I was starstruck. I thought, man, I'm 43 years old, and I'm starstruck looking at Taylor Swift at the concert. No, I am really a Swiftie. But it started to yes. I actually started with the gifts to annoy Jesser. I think early in DeFi Plaza, I posted one Taylor Swift GIF. I wasn't even that much of a fan. I listened to her music, but I thought, hey, there's this GIF from her. And then Jesser got like a little bit annoyed. Taylor Swift, she's stupid. I said, oh, nice. I know how to tease him. So I started posting more Taylor Swift GIFs. He was like, stop it with the Taylor Swift things. And then, like Peachy started calling me Tay-Tay, and Mr. Peanut Butter said I had a Taylor Swift GIF for every situation. So it kind of became my thing, my alter ego, and that's why I actually never stopped. That's why my alter ego is Tay-Tay.
That's nice. I would say I don't like it for other reasons. I mean, I like the music. Well, I don't hear it so much, but I'm a NFL fan, so I like American football, and I'm a Buffalo Bills fan since 1993. So last year when she started going for the Kansas City Chiefs, that is like a rival right now for the Buffalo Bills, they were like, oh, come on, man.
but she's helping making NFL more popular among people who aren't watching. So maybe that's a good thing.
At some point, I remember they were saying, oh, this is good for Taylor Swift because the NFL, Kansas City fans. No, guys. No. This is good for Kansas City and the NFL because Taylor Swift has a much bigger audience than NFL. So, yeah, it's a strong girl and has a very big footprint on the world. So, yeah it's a good strategy for you.
It is funny. My bio doesn't only say that I'm a part of Astrolescent and DeFi Plaza, but also that I don't really look like Taylor Swift. My current avatar is a little bit more obvious that it's Taylor Swift. I had a different one before that wasn't that clear that it was actually Taylor Swift. So I had a few calls, like an interview here or something on Twitter that people say, "You're a guy?" I said, "Yeah."
Yes.
I said, "I'm not actually Taylor Swift." Oh, I didn't know that was Taylor Swift. It has been funny. It's been a cool journey.
Yeah, but at the start, I didn't know if you were a guy or a girl.
Yeah.
And No, you're okay. It's like with Woo Woo project. I guess you
Yeah,
know
with Wart.
when I start speaking on Telegram with him, I was imagining things because you start speaking with the image, and then I ask,
Yeah,
"Hey, are you a guy or a girl?" And he's like, "I'm a guy." Okay, I'm gonna stop imagining things. So same thing here with Taylor, but nice, nice to take that off the road.
yeah.
So, what would you say? I mean, I think you've been speaking a bit about it uh, through this cafe and crypto, through this Radix talk. But what is to you the biggest achievements that Astrolescent has done so far?
Yeah. I think it might be the bridge. Like, I should probably talk about how much volume we did, or how many tokens we listed, or about all-time high. But I think the biggest achievement was the first one to offer the bridge with Maya, and really made it easier, a lot easier for people to bridge onto Radix or out of Radix. I think that's our biggest achievement so far. Um, and then, of course, we already, I think it's almost close to $2 million in trade volume on the bridge. It's actually
Nice.
going pretty fast. We did 25 plus million on the aggregator. So those are amazing numbers. But if I look at what we actually achieved, yeah, I think it's the bridge. I think that's what I'm most proud of, that we pushed out. And it's so nice to see that every time people are now asking in the Radix main chat, hey, how can I buy XRD? Someone, not me, not someone from my team, someone says, also have a look at Astrolescent. And that's just really cool. Like, I always call our community the astronauts, because you have this whole space theme. But it's really cool to see that we have such a vocal community. We're building fans. People are talking about it when we aren't. And yeah, it's just, I love it. Like how Beam and Be Like Water and Seven and some others are just really promoting us as well. Yeah, I love that. I love that the most in crypto. Like this vocal community, and you're building together, and they're not working for us, they're just fans, and yeah, that's
Yeah.
really nice.
I think everybody has a goal in common, and that is bring more people to Radix. So,
Yeah,
yeah, very good community here in Radix that support projects that are doing things,
yeah,
good things for the ecosystem. And I mean, that bridge is just a big open door that you build for people to come to Radix. So, yeah, I mean, it's amazing what you've achieved so far with that bridge, and also with the aggregator within the Radix.
yeah,
But nice, super nice.
yeah.
I think that I need to go and check the bridge myself so that I can show on a video how to do it, because
Nice.
I made a video last week. But I've been getting questions from audience, how can they arrive to Radix. So I use the sex, the
Yeah,
MXC or the other guy, or the other things, but I didn't took in consideration the bridge. But now that you mention, I mean, it's a super tool that now Radix have. So super.
nice. Looking forward. If you have any questions, you know where to find me, and that goes for everyone. If you ever have any questions, just hop into our DMs on X, or DM me personally on Telegram. I feel that customer support, especially for the bridge, is our secret weapon. So we're happy to help and answer any questions that you have.
Nice, I love it. And is there any plans for the future that can be disclosed? I know sometimes the things that are coming are top secret, but anything that is not top secret.
No, like I said, more networks or more change into
Yes.
the bridge. But we also created limit orders on Radix based on
Mm.
AlphaDex. So it is similar to what Dexter is doing, but so on one hand, we're trying to aggregate everything on Radix and beyond, but we're also trying to make it simple for normal users to actually use. Like you and me are, well, you're by far a veteran. I'm maybe a senior crypto user, but for the people who are just entering, like bridges are scary, and we try to make that accessible, and we're looking to limit orders to do that as well, because order books are maybe even more complex than a bridge. I didn't understand them for a long time until I really dove into it and figured out how they worked. So we're working on a very easy to use trading interface where you can sell or buy tokens at a certain price. That's just it. So you say, I have a few Astral, I like to buy more when the price hits 2XRD. And then because it's integrated into our own algorithm, once that price hits 2XRD, it becomes interesting to execute that trade because it's just a liquidity source in our aggregator. It gets executed. The user is happy because he bought. The other one is happy because she got a good deal. And so that's one of the things that we're currently working on. I think those are the two major parts. Antic is, of course, coming from RDXWorks, will be integrated into the aggregator as well. And we're thinking on how can we somehow, not maybe really add it to the bridge, but how can we incorporate it in such a way that it becomes more one trading interface than that. Where we're experimenting also with Antic where we can best integrate it. But I think those are the three ongoing projects at the moment. So more change, simple to use limit orders to buy and sell at any price, and Antic.
Nice. Perfect. I think those are the good steps, and it's going to help a lot. So tell me a little bit about the DeFi Plaza.
Yeah, we mentioned it a couple of times already.
Yeah.
I think it's a really, really interesting project. Of course, I'm part of it, so it's easy to say, but because of a few elements, I think we've been running a decentralized exchange on Ethereum for a couple of years. Okay. And one of the things that we learned is that in the beginning, we thought we need to get as much trade volume as possible because then our liquidity providers would make profit. And we quickly learned that's not the case, because if you charge no fees, for example, the liquidity provider is not making any profits. Okay, we need to make as much fees as possible because then the liquidity provider will make a lot of profit. And over the years, we learned that something called impermanent loss is actually eating away at most of the fees of the liquidity providers. So on Uniswap v3, and now I have to say this by heart, but I think in the first 6 months of its existence, the liquidity providers combined lost $100 million. Wow. I think $120 million was made in fees, but the impermanent loss was actually $220 million. So everybody using the concentrated liquidity on Uniswap v3 was losing money, but they didn't really see it because impermanent loss is it's almost invisible. It's a complex problem, but it means that if the price of the assets change, the total value of those are not as much as the original setting. So we wanted to have a look on Radix, where we have more freedom than on Ethereum to build complex products. Can we come up with an algorithm that actually removes or at least reduces impermanent loss? And I have to applaud Jazzer. He did all the hard work. He's an electrical engineer with a lot of knowledge of algorithms. And he came up with CALM. And CALM stands for Concentrated Asymmetric Liquidity Model. Nice. Yes, I think that's it. CALM, I love that it turned into a word. Yeah. But simply said, it treats trades that increase impermanent loss different than trades that decrease impermanent loss. Okay. And to give an example, and this is super simplified because otherwise we need another hour to explain. But if you are buying a token and you are increasing the impermanent loss for the LP providers, you pay a higher price than when you decrease it. I think simply said, that is how it works. And with DeFi Plaza, we only focus on the LP provider. So we do have a swap interface, but our focus is try to make providing liquidity profitable by lowering the impermanent loss. And then we use Astrolescent and other aggregators to actually get the trade volume when that is profitable for our LP providers. And that's and we're actually doing really well. And that's interesting. We don't have the highest trade volume, but we also don't want the highest trade volume. So we're not focusing on quantity, we're focusing on quality. We only want those trades that are profitable for our LP providers. And if a trade is not profitable, then we don't want it. The algorithm says no, you will pay a higher price, and otherwise go somewhere else. So we have a relatively low trade volume, but a relatively high profitability for the LP providers, and it's really interesting to see.
Yeah, I have a couple of questions about that.
Yeah.
So this calm feature or algorithm, it's just working on DeFi Plaza, right? So
Yeah.
I mean,
Nah,
we all love Aussie Swap, but they don't have that.
No.
Okay.
No, so those cubes DEX is also running on Calm. So we offered it to them, and those cube is using us as well. But it's only available on DeFi Plaza. OC Swap and Caviar 9 have their own algorithms, and they don't use Calm. No.
Okay. And the other question is something that I hear a lot, but I just I don't understand it 100%. Is how does it work, the one-way liquidity?
Yeah, that is super interesting. So that's the asymmetric part in Calm. We wanted to be able to offer single-sided liquidity. So for example, for the CTO DFP2 tokens, a pair that you can only add CTO or only add DFP2. And we do that by internally, we have two pairs. So we have one CTO DFP2 pair and one DFP2 CTO pair. And then so you can add liquidity to one or you can add liquidity to the other. And then if trades happen, we make sure that it stays fair for the liquidity provider when it goes to one side. If you buy or sell the token, we try to keep that fair for everybody and help make a single-sided liquidity possible. It's not always fully single-sided. And that's because if we would do this fully single-sided and you would add 100 CTO and I would add 100 DFP2 and someone would buy a DFP2, say they would send us 10 CTO and you would get 10 DFP2, then there's 110 CTO in the pool and only 90 DFP2. So you made 10% profit, I made a 11% loss, and that's not fair. Yeah. So that's why sometimes what we do, and that's why we have those two pairs, the CTO in this case would go to my pair, and after the trade, I would have 10 CTO and 90 DFP2, and then it's fair. Because then I provided the trade, I get the fees, and I get both sides of the liquidity. The downside is, if someone wants to add more DFP2, they now need to add 90 DFP2 and 10 CTO, because otherwise it wouldn't be fair. So we try to make it as fair as possible. Yeah. And that's why it's not always fully single-sided. Over time, if there's not enough trading back and forth and Calm removes the impermanent loss and it gets balanced again, then it's again fully single-sided until there's more buys than sells. So it goes a little bit left and right, left and right.
All right. So one last question. If one person want to add, let's say, CTO, and they are allowed to put X amount of CTO, and they only put CTO, do they have more risk to get liquidated versus
No,
adding both?
no, no, no. Um, Are there downsides? No, not really. Like you do need both tokens to make trades. So
Mhm.
you could actually create a new pool at 100 CTO and no DFP2. And then if someone wants to sell CTO, that's not possible because there's no DFP2 in the pool. So that's why you need both. But it doesn't have to be the same. So it doesn't have to be 50-50. So calm
Okay.
works that even if there's a lot more CTO and say maybe a little bit of DFP2, you can still make the trades.
Okay, very good. All right, I
You're
think that
welcome.
we're almost to an hour, so just to leave it on 1 hour. And first of all, thank you very much for being
You're
here
welcome.
and giving
Yeah,
us
it was
this
really
space,
nice.
explaining everything. I will ask one last question to you, and then once we finish the transmission, if you can stay just 2 minutes, I have one other question
Okay,
in
yeah,
regards
that's
of
fine.
CTO.
Yeah.
So what would be your advice with the experience that you have right now on the dev side and what you've been through so far with this bull market at the end of the bull
Yeah.
market and then the bear market and everything? What would you advise anybody that is getting into crypto right now?
Oh, that's a dangerous question. um, Everybody says it, but only invest what you are prepared to lose. And what I mean with that is that I think if you have any money, you should build some kind of pyramid. And like in the lower layer, always make sure you have enough savings that if anything happens, there's still money in your bank account. And then buy some shares or buy some funds. And then if that's working well and you have some money and you have some funds and you have some shares and you want to earn more money or you want to get into the high risk, high reward of crypto, I would first start buying like the blue chips. So buy some BTC, buy some ETH, maybe some SOL, like the big networks that are a little bit more stable. Buy some XRD, and then once you are familiar with owning ETH, owning BTC, owning some XRD, then get into the ecosystem. Have a look at the different projects, some meme coins, there's some nice NFT collections. There's of course Astrolescent and DeFi Plaza, but there's also Hug and Early and Weft and some others. I think that is where you can really make the money. But that is also where you more easily
Risk.
can lose a lot of money because high risk, high
Better
reward,
reward.
but also high losses.
That's
So I would take steps, make yourself comfortable, and don't put all your savings into Early or Hug because they might moon, but they might also go down really fast. And
yeah.
then maybe if you're comfortable with everything like that, have a look at futures and perps. I'm not touching them. It's not my thing. It's for me, that's the easiest way to lose all my money. So I'm staying with the ecosystem and
Yeah.
just take it one step at a time, ask questions, and don't be afraid to ask stupid questions, and because that's how we all started. I look
Yeah.
back at 2020, 21, I asked so many stupid questions because I had to learn, and don't be afraid to ask.
Very good advices. And yeah, just last week, a colleague from work, I mean, speaking with him, he had some experience with, not really with crypto, but with some platforms that he lost a
Yeah.
lot of money before. And he was saying, hey, I'm interested to invest in Radix and in CTO. And I was like, man, put most on Radix and just a little bit on CTO because you never
Yeah.
know. I mean,
No.
and it's, yeah. Every time that someone from the street and from work or family asks me, hey, what should I do? I always tell them, start with Bitcoin, Ethereum,
Yeah.
Cardano, and now
Yeah.
Solana that it's also doing well.
Yeah.
And that's it. Don't start playing around with other things because it's gonna struggle. But now to my language, it's also on Radix.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, I think we come to the point that we can safely start promoting Radix again.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much, Tim, man. It
Thank
was
you
a
very much.
super nice talk. I really enjoyed it. I had fun with the Swifties as well. So if you're a Swiftie, go to Astrolescent because
Yes.
there you will find good stuff for Taylor Swift. Who knows? Maybe sometime she's going to do an NFT collection on Radix because just kidding. But thank you very much, Tim, man. And thank
You're
you,
welcome.
everybody,
Have a good
that
day,
joined
everyone.
here. If you have any questions, please leave on the comment section so that we can review and try to answer. So
I'll have a look in the coming days as well.
Sure. Thank you. Bye-bye.